proof almost like of how important sexual health is. It
Yeah.
is our life force energy. And when we buy into it's done, like at a certain point, then we buy into it. And
Yeah.
I'm here to say, no, you're not.
Hey, welcome back to this segment, part 3 of Hymology. I'm here with Heiki and Jonathan Hudson. Hello.
Hello.
And this is Shari James, RN. I help men heal erectile dysfunction without pills, get them off pills, or in some cases, get pills to work with my holistic approach to healing erectile dysfunction. So far, the past 2 segments have been absolutely amazing. If you've not seen part 1 and part 2, please make sure you check those out. So now we're going to start Wisdom Bomb number 3. Role of partners in supporting male sexuality. We touched on that in our last segment, so let's see if we can go deeper into that and maybe share things that can be a little bit more practical.
There's so much. That's why I'm pausing here for a moment. I believe there is attitude, there's techniques, there's energy, there's like all the different spectrum. There's words, like whatever we come with to support male sexuality. It's again holistic, and yet there are certain things. I think for me, one of the biggest things that Jonathan has taught me is is how male and female bodies are different from the entrance point when it comes to sexuality energetically.
Mm,
We, as women, like, the mind and the heart open and stimulated, and then the energy starts moving down and we're getting into our arousal. While what I've experienced, especially with Jonathan, but in general, that male sexuality it starts there and then to move it up to the heart. And
yep.
this is how their hearts open. And so it's probably one of the biggest things that I always teach women and clients and also men to understand, like, if you like to be touched and you're immediately, that does not mean that we want that too. And so how can we navigate that dance of so my entrance is from here and his entrance is from there, and to really make it work. And to me, that's the biggest one. I know for him, and he spoke about it, and men can check for themselves, but it's a love language for him when I touch his anytime, any like in the house, in bed, in the morning. It's just a check-in. It's like a hand holding almost.
But I want to add a caveat to that. It's not just touching my cock. And so I am a man that feels very connected to his heart through his sexuality. And so when she's touching my cock and holding my cock, I literally feel like she's holding my heart. There's
Yep.
this deep connection there. And so
Mm-hmm.
not just the sexual component, it's a very
Yeah.
deep, honoring feeling that I get from her. And also this feeling of your sexuality is welcome. In today's world
Mm. Beautiful. Yes.
where so much sexuality, male sexuality is shamed, even within partnership. I've seen that a lot with couples, women saying, all he wants is sex all the time, and blah, 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 and right? And yet she comes from a place of honoring that. And in fact, always telling me, thank you for holding that mantle in our relationship. Thank you for always being the sexual one, the one that's calling me forth, the one that's calling me into the bedroom. And so that invitation and that acceptance and love of that part of me is tremendously huge. And not just about sex. It's about honoring the entire part of my being, and to which sexuality is an important component.
Your level of sexual connection and daily sexual practice is really not what's happening in the mainstream. There's a lot of sexual rejection um, coming from both sides, but definitely I'm only hearing one side. So I'm hearing about the women sexually rejecting the men. What I'd like to hear, Heike, is what does it do for you as a woman? Like, what are the benefits to being open sexually to your husband, your lover? Like, how does that juice you up? Like, what does that do?
There's so much. I think the number one really it is the connection, right? That we have this intimate connection, this merging. I do need and love the sacredness and the energetic components, like this wholesome experience. Like I always talk about, there's McDonald's sex and there's like this five-star gourmet like meal, and that's what we're usually craving. We want like the whole thing. It's not just the sexual act. And so there's a lot of education around that I feel needs to happen, that we make it a practice, that we make it a spiritual practice. And yet there's also this like the honoring, and I am touching him for my pleasure.
Mm. Hmm.
Beautifully
It's
said.
it,
Yes.
it's an honor to have this body here, even more so after his little break with after surgery. It's like this gratitude that there's someone here that shares his life and his body with me, and and then to me even more than ever the fascination that his penis can swell. And so I come like, and then it gets bigger and bigger, and all the things you can do with it, and it's like it's it turns me on. So this is why I don't like the word hand job, blow job. Like if it's a job, of course it's no fun. Like
Well, there's
it
like a love blow job and then a duty blow job,
exactly. So
Exactly.
you, and to the
right?
love one, you come with your full self, and again, I get pleasure out of
Mm-hmm.
that. In fact,
Giving.
sometimes when we have our morning meeting, our bliss room meeting, I'm not there, and then I actually go to him first and start nourishing myself from there, and out of that something always happens. But there's also the piece of the pressure, like it's for men but it's also for women, right? Like this, okay, 5 o'clock, we have this time now we all need to be turned on, or we're on this trip, or we have the hotel room, and now the kids are with the babysitter, or whatever is happening. You set up the space and then it's not there.
Mm.
And so it's this dance of what is there, and it's not the expectations, it's not the
Mm-hmm.
goals, it's not the performance. For me, it's a dance with what is, and to
Mm.
tune
Ooh,
into
that's
what's
powerful.
available, right? What's available right now? How do so we have the saying, just shut up and put your bodies together, especially all the couples that are fighting.
Processing.
It's
Help
like
process.
bodies together and then see what happens,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Yeah.
usually like, there's the body wisdom, right? And if
Mm-hmm.
you love your partner, and if there's some level of chemistry, because sometimes there's really a mismatch.
Yeah.
I I want to honor that too, right? But if this is your love, and if the chemistry is there, the bodies will figure it out. And sometimes it takes a moment. And sometimes we even go in our morning practice and fall asleep. But then we wake up out of that, and then all of a sudden it's there. So it's this, the performance is, I think, one of the biggest things.
It also takes a commitment though, because,
Yeah.
I see couples that love each other and have had great sex, and then all of a sudden they, for whatever reason, don't have sex for a while. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like the longer that happens, the more distant it becomes. And underneath it all, they're both frustrated
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
both know what's possible. But that's when the gers start to happen. And then you get the fighting. And then when you got, but
Yeah.
it's not about the thing, right? It's about the thing under the thing. And this is why this shut up and put your bodies together is allows you would just shut your mouth and stop trying to process this stuff and let your love come back together through your bodies. And many times that it may take 15 minutes, it may take a half an hour, but it's like the bodies resolve the conflict on
Mhm.
their own. And
Yeah,
then
well, the sexual energy wants to move,
it
right?
wants to move.
It's wise. It wants to move. That's why there's value in having angry sex because you're getting out of frustration, you're moving that energy up and out, and then you're laughing 5 minutes later. Hopefully it lasts longer than
That's
that.
the best part. I know when
Yeah.
all of a sudden I have an amazing experience and we both have incredible climaxes and lay together for an hour and I walk out of the room and I've completely forgotten why I was so frustrated, 2 hours ago.
So I love what you just said because the commitment. So there's people that work all the time or meditate or have like the good nutrition. And sometimes it makes sense to schedule this. We
Yeah.
both know we have a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning and we're going to show up.
No matter what.
And then there's times
Because
when,
it's important to you,
yes,
Yeah.
right?
because
It's
everything
important.
comes online, right? The skin, the
Yeah.
hair, like everything gets better. When you work with sexual energy, it's life force, it's creative life force energy. So why would you not like activate that first thing, even in the morning? And I know not everyone is able to do that, but having
Right.
sex at the last thing of the day, when the minds are still full and you're coming and you're tired, and then to get your sexy on is also really hard.
Well,
I
and
agree.
she went through 4 years of menopause
Yeah.
where
Hold on the story.
where women are told you're done, right, by society. You're not a sexual creature anymore. You're just washed up. And Heike said, fuck that. And she showed up even when she didn't feel like it, even when she was exhausted or didn't sleep the night before. She
I
would
need
show
to
up.
give her some kind of award right now.
Amen.
I don't know if I could have done that. I like to always have awards.
But
Ooh.
the reason was for her to get the flood of chemicals in the body. There's your reward. I agree.
Thank you.
Beautiful crystal.
You can speak to that yourself. I mean, I know there were so many times you didn't
That's
feel like having sex, but you showed
really
up.
rare. I don't know if
It's
I could have done that.
Well, it's the
So,
remedy. It's the remedy, right? And
ooh,
and to me, sexuality doesn't always mean intercourse, but it means like
yeah,
I show up on the mat. I don't want to lose the muscle,
Yeah.
and I don't want to start from scratch again, almost, right? Like when you start drying up, like we got to get it all going again. We have this analogy of keep your soup on the stove. It, you
let
Whoa.
it simmer. Yeah,
right? And from there, it's easier than you put it in the fridge or even in the freezer. And then it's a lot of work to actually get it to the place of the simmering.
yeah. Keep the simmer. Keep the simmer
And
going.
this is the total proof almost like of how important sexual health is. It
Yeah,
is our life force energy. And when we buy into it's done, like at a certain point, then we buy into it. And
yeah.
I'm here to say, no, you're not. And maybe, like I heard you, maybe you take a break in between. Um, and yet, to me, I'm having better sex than ever before.
Okay, let's affirm that because I'm like way like postmenopausal now, believe it or not, even though I like look young. And I have to say, sex is better than ever, better than even imaginable, right?
Because you kind of know yourself. It's like
Don't care anymore.
it's really don't care anymore, like about others and other things, and like the judgments fall away, and you're just really here to enjoy pleasure.
Mm,
There's nothing to prove anymore,
mm.
right? And
Yeah.
you don't have to make a certain face or certain sounds or not sounds, and you don't. I don't. Most of the times don't care about my wrinkles anymore. It's just like okay, and like it's the body, and the more I actually go into the practice, the better it looks.
True.
Yeah. Well, an orgasmic capacity,
I,
kapow, like galaxies. I mean,
I
wow.
travel all the time, so
Yeah.
that's the other thing of like us in the bedroom. I travel to the cosmos and back to get information and to channel and all of this and it's not like these quick orgasms anymore. It is like you just said, right? The waves and the you just stay there and you can
Yeah.
ride the waves. because you just have this expansion going on. And so most women may not support their partner because they may not have this experience. So there's a lot of education available for women, that there's so much more to sex.
Yeah. So if you're a man watching this, get this video over to your partner and let her know there is so much more. Menopause is like fertility death on the physical level, but it is like sexual.
Then you get to keep it all.
Yeah, and then it's like sexual
You
energy
don't bleed it
rebirth.
out anymore. You can actually use all of the energy.
Without knowing the root causes of erectile dysfunction, you might as well just go ahead and throw your pills in the garbage. Contact me for your free video consult. Oh my gosh, so much packed into this. Well, so I don't know you two personally. I know Jonathan from Facebook. I never thought in a million years he was going to be this quiet. So, so I would like, Jonathan, you can wrap this up any way you like right now, because you were very like, we just took it from you, okay?
Oh, that's okay. Being taken by two women is a fantasy, so it's all good. Oh, well, I want to thank you for your voice in this world around this subject, right? And just the more people that embrace and can talk about sexuality on all fronts for women and for men, and get this information to the mainstream, that there's so much more to sexuality, as Heike just said, than we are taught and believe.
Yeah.
So much more. And when you can use intentionality as part of your sex life, it can really transform your relationship and transform your world. We're programmed that we get together for 5 minutes, we have sex, the man comes, and we go in this certain order of things, right? Kissing, blowjobs. It's this boring, gets boring kind of thing, and then everybody's so happy to get it, they're like, they don't even care if it's boring in a sense, right? But ultimately it is, right? And it leads to so much disconnect of not understanding the true potential of sexuality. And I'm going to go a little more divine here, the true nature of our beings as spiritual beings in these human bodies, where our capacity for pleasure, not just in our sexual organs, but our capacity for pleasure is so vast. And there's so much, this is how life is born, right? This is God and God, whatever the words are, meeting, and that spark of life that happens when a womb is fertilized. It's like, how much more can happen there besides, if a woman can create a baby, what else can be created? And that to me is, it's always the divine part. That does not mean that you can't have a 5-minute kitchen. It's just, but that can also fall under the sacred umbrella. But the sex church, the sacredness of it. And it doesn't mean that you have to like yab yum and eye gaze for 6 hours straight. It's just bringing those presence, attunement, and connection to every part of your sexual connection with who you're with has a profound impact on everyone's lives.
Amen and blessed be.
And blessed
Boom.
be.
Hey, you. Hey, guy. Who's learning about sexual health? Mixed in with some Tantra, mixed in with some 5 elements of Chinese medicine and some Western medicine. I want to let you know something. I would love it if you would hit my subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you're going to know when new content is posted every Friday.